Dude, what size is that shirt?
This one? Probably small.
Yeah. Sorry, is that what you said?
No, cheers. Probably small.
Oh.
Really?
Let me see.
That's like an XXL,
Bro,
bro.
this is a large. Why do I have a large?
I was gonna say, dude, you got that fucking
You got the
swag.
oversized drip
Is
right
this
now.
even my shirt?
It's mine.
Fuck it, whatever. I guess I'll just wear it.
Is there any water around?
Only if you ask nicely.
May I please have a water?
Get on your
No.
knees, bro.
Okay. I'm going to start. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 9 of the Cloud9 Forecast. We are joined by Blaber and Vulcan. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. We're starting our three-week break.
Cool. Yeah, that's a long break in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the format so far? You know, we're back to best of threes. How's that been?
I like best of threes. Obviously, it helped us in the first week when we lost the first match to Thanatos.
True.
And then we were able to come back, so that was nice. And overall, I think it's more fun. It's more hype to go on stage and like know that you'll have more than one game to play.
Yeah. Like, I heard it was something like 9 out of 10 of the last series have just been 2-0s.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's more fun. I just like playing more games in general. Like last split, the maximum games we could play in regular season was 14. This game, the minimum amount of games we can play is 14.
Yeah.
So I feel like just in general, we play so many less games on stage than like LPL or LCK, even EU, I think. So it's like, I just think we need more stage practice in general.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I just got to ask this one because I've been one of the like vocal minority supporters of best of twos. Okay, not best of twos. That's how people phrase it. But I think it would just be more like a double header. Like you just, when you play, what if, you know, say you're going up against Dig next week or something, and it's just you played 2 games, like one blue, one red side. And then you could have more games in the season because for scheduling, right? Because right now with BO3s, it's like you kind of have to assume it goes to 6 games or at least plan around it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you did a back-to-back games, you could have more games scheduled.
That's
A lot of people
interesting.
don't like it, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
I mean, I don't like best of twos because I want to win or lose. Like, I feel like you play best of twos, it just feels unsatisfying to go home tied on the day. I'm not a big fan of ties. I play the game to win.
You're
not to-
American.
Yeah, American.
Yeah.
I play the game.
No one likes ties here.
I like to play the game to win, not to tie. So for me, like personally, it would be unsatisfying. But if it can make more game days, I wouldn't be like super opposed. But I feel like the reason we don't have more game days is because of budget reasons, not actually because of Riot doesn't want more, or like Mark, I guess, doesn't want more game days. I think it's mainly they just don't have budget to have more days.
It's
For us.
expensive. to
Yeah,
run
it's
this
expensive.
video.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's more of a budget thing than anything. But if it wouldn't allow us to play more games, I wouldn't be like entirely opposed.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely something I've been having a lot of conversations with people about because I think a lot of people are on a similar page where, you know, we just want more LCS, right? I think a lot of the changes Mark's done this year have been super good. But, you know, it's just leaves you wanting more at the end. Because with matches, it's what we have like 7 matches total.
Yeah, it's a bit
True.
troll. Like
So,
only
Yeah.
7 matches.
I will say having a single round robin like feels really bad, especially like we played Dig in the first week, right?
And we'll never see them
And
again.
we literally will never play them until maybe playoffs. And because of 3-week break, there's a 10-week difference. So like we beat them in week 1. How are we supposed to know if like we're better than them by week 10? You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's really it just feels weird to only play a team once, especially the ones you play so early on.
Yeah. I get that for sure. With the doubleheader thing, I feel like, I don't know, one of the appeals to me is like you're into, I don't know, do you still play chess?
Yeah, I still Vulcan plays chess too actually.
Oh, wait, you guys both do?
He plays more than me right now actually.
Okay. Yeah, because in chess, draws are like a huge part of it, right? Like in the tournaments and stuff. And I don't know. To me, it seems kind of interesting. It's like, you know, say the top 2 teams go up against each other in the regular season and they go 1-1. It's like, okay, you know, they're pretty evenly matched. And then it kind of creates more hype for
like
playoffs.
a teaser.
Yeah.
The playoffs, yeah.
Yeah,
can
but
see
I
it.
mean, you know, that's just my opinion. I think it's for sure in the minority. Are you guys satisfied with your performance so far, the split?
I'm happy with. I feel like we're playing better. Like I'm just happy that I think we're against the lower tier teams that we played so far in Immortals and Shopify. I think we've played the games well and closed the games out well. I think we had like some sloppy mistakes, but I feel like last split we wouldn't even close out these games well. We lost, I think, most of our games to these teams. So I'm just happy that we're having like good performance versus the lower tier teams. And I think in general in practice we've actually been playing a lot better. Even like maybe it's not like the cleanest practice, but it's definitely better than the last split.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the way we play the game feels better. It's more satisfying. I feel like the game flows. It's like smoother. I felt like last split in the game, it was kind of like a wild roller coaster a little bit that you had to like fight back to like get control of the game. But we've only played like lower tier teams, like Blaber said, and we haven't played Flying TL yet, so we'll see how that goes. But I have a feeling that because we're like having cleaner games, that we'll have a better chance against them. Like I'm pretty confident going into those games. Obviously, it's in a long time.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, who is your guys' next match? Do you even know?
Energy, 100 Thieves.
Yeah,
okay,
because Flying TL is like the two. It's TL is like the second to last week,
and Flies are last week. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So either Energy or 100.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Do you like being able to like ramp the whole split and then play the strong teams at the end, or would you rather play them early? Or do you don't really care?
I like it in general. Like if I didn't get to choose the team's condition beforehand, if I can control every factor, maybe I would do something else. But like for us, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, like we get to ramp up. We had a pretty bad spring. We get to like shit on the shitters and then get them at the end.
I don't mind it too much. I think I would be fine with either. I will say, like, when we first came back, it was really rough for us against Flying Tail specifically in swaps because they had all of MSI to practice swaps because it was like a thing. We came back, we had no idea really how to swap, and we were kind of getting shit on versus them every single swap game. So if we had played them early on and, they swapped on us, we probably would have done pretty poorly.
Yeah. Speaking on the swaps, what do you guys think about the meta so far? Because lane swaps it seems like it's in such a weird spot right now where I think most of the people who, played back in season 6 or earlier who were part of the lane swap meta are kind of, like horrified of it because so many of those games back then just turned into these like solitaire first 10 minutes of nothing happening. I think so far the lane swaps haven't been terrible. Like a lot of times there is action with people like moving around the map everywhere and stuff. So I don't outright hate it, but I feel like once it gets solved, it gets really boring. So like, what do you guys think about just the meta in general? Lane swaps, the AP junglers, the Tristana Corki stuff, like just general thoughts.
I'll start with the AP junglers because in my opinion, it's a bit boring how the games play out with AP junglers. It's like very predictable what's going to happen. Their timers. It's like pretty obvious where and when they'll be in a certain place because like if they try something out of the ordinary, it means that they're probably skipping a camp. And if you're doing that as an AP jungler, you can fall behind pretty horribly, right? If it doesn't go well, especially. So it's like the game is very like easy to predict, I guess. Like, when I'm inside the game, I can kind of know what the other guy's gonna do, which is it feels nice when the game's going well, I guess. But then if you can't be creative, it's like a bit boring, I suppose. Like it sucks if you have less ability to like do something outside the box, for example.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so that's for the AP junglers. And for the lane swap, I mean, at least like it's not a full lane swap until like the tier 2s are gone, right? It's only like you give a few plays to the team that's bot side to like avoid a bad matchup, right, usually. And then you go back to ball lane and you play from there. So I think it's not as bad as it was like back in your era 100 years ago.
100 years ago?
Yeah.
For me, I think I'm not the biggest fan of the AP jungler meta. I think it's like, I think it's good for our team, but like, I just think that it's really hard for a bad team to win against a better team to playing this style, and it's also just hard to play it yourself. Like, you can't play a jungler that, let's say Zyra, for example, that isn't strong in skirmishes, and expect to like win skirmishes, but also have your laners lose. Like if your laners are losing, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Like your champ can't impact to help them win. And if your laners are winning when you're playing like Zyra or something, you just take everything. And they can't do anything about it because your tempo is so high. It's not like before where like the full clearing junglers were like Graves or Kindred. Like they farm fast, but they can fight.
Yeah.
Like they're really strong. They meet the enemy solo laner, they will kill them. If I'm playing Zyra, like I'm not trying to go 1v1 you. Like I'm just trying to play tempo, take all the camps, and eventually like because my laners are so good on C9, like usually they're winning lane. So I can just farm whatever I want, and they can play the game kind of without me, you know. But like if you're like a weaker team, it's like very hard to play that style, I would say, versus teams that are better. And also, I think there's just less comeback potential because like before, people playing Vi Wukong, even if you're losing a bit, you can make plays, you can fight, right? Like you can throw the game. But right now, it's like it's really hard. And then for lane swapping, I think it's like not that OP right now. I think most people don't really swap for top laners. They kind of just swap for bot laners. Sometimes you swap for the top lane matchup, but it's like you can't really kill the top tower anymore. So you just end up going down a lot of gold in bot lane. And I think if the team that's getting swapped on reacts well, it's not like that OP.
Okay. Yeah. Do you like the, mid lane picks that have been played? Because I think for me, it kind of seems like another factor that makes the games harder to come back is when you have like scaling mids, Corki versus Trist every other game. It's, as jungler, are you even looking mid most games? Because it just seems like, it's a waste of time to even try to gank those lanes.
I'm always looking mid on our team because Jojo makes his lane very volatile.
That's fair.
Like pretty much every game in every matchup. Usually he's winning the volatility, but like it's very volatile. So a lot of times, like if I can clear faster than the enemy jungler and I can move mid first, like even if I'm playing something like Zyra that's like not gonna deal that much damage level 4, if I just chunk the guy, like usually Jojo will just like win his lane. And also it's just like usually you play those champs with full clearing junglers, so then like if you're naturally winning, it's really good for your jungler. So I think it's like okay. I don't really care too much on the mid meta. I kind of just play my game.
Dude, you guys had that, because I'm thinking back to the last day of games in LCS. That was the one where it was like a 2-hour LCS day, just 2 quick 2-0s. And you had that Baron with Zyra where you had so many, like the most plants I've ever seen. How many plants was that?
I think I had like maybe 10 or 11.
Oh my god.
But the reason like I had so many plants is because I maxed W second on Zyra. Pretty much every Zyra right now maxes E second for the longer root duration.
Yeah.
But I've always been a fan of maxing W second for just controlling zones, having more poke damage with Comet, and also starting Nash is really good with maxing W. So, we did in scrims before, and it took about 10 to 15 seconds, so we kind of knew how fast it would take, and I don't even need to stand there. Like, I don't need to spawn my passive plants. I can literally zone people with my passive plants while putting my W in the pit. So it's like they can't even face check while I'm putting the plants down.
That's smart, and it's less expected when you're like, you don't think Zyra is setting up for a Baron when she's like poking you.
Yeah, like I'm not even standing in the pit. I just walk there when my W's up, put it down, then I walk back out to poke you, so you can't even really face check, and it's just like it's pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah, that's smart. I've been seeing so many different Zyra builds. I've been playing her a lot too, and it's like some people do like full Q then W, some people do Q then E, some are like 3Q then E then W. I don't even know what's best. I've just been going back and forth.
Same.
I've heard that you have a Nidalee card with Reapered.
It's Riot, actually. I got an email from Riot. They were like, "Hello, C9. We have decided that going forward, Nidalee will be disabled on stage."
That kind of Nidalee card.
Yeah, it was an email that I got.
I played a lot of Nidalee before. We played our first stage game where it went 0-7. Actually, I got 1 kill because someone ran to the Nexus for me.
Let's go.
So I was 1-7, but I was actually doing really well with Nidalee before we went on stage. Then kind of after I went 1-7, I started doing a lot worse in scrims too on Nidalee. Like we were still winning our games, but like it wasn't like the clean, like invade early game, get a lead, don't int your lead. It was more like the invade early, get a lead, int your lead completely.
Somehow clawed back.
Like somehow clawed back, win anyways. But I think Nidalee will be a lot stronger next patch, just because they're nerfing so many other AP junglers, and the AD mids haven't really changed.
Yeah.
So you still need to find an AP jungler that's strong, and I know Nidalee's like not working super well in NA, but I do think the champ is still quite strong.
Has anybody won with it?
No, it's 0-5, I think.
I think
No wins.
everyone who's picked it has just
0-5.
had a horrible game on it too.
I think Inspire did okay.
Yeah.
Like the one game he played, he was like, I mean, I wouldn't say like he was like carrying or anything, but like he wasn't inting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
think-
like the
I
hardest
mean,
thing.
dude,
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
Nidalee
that
game,
sounds
you
so
had that was like one of the worst comps playing Nidalee into I've ever
Yeah,
seen. They
I-
had what Poppy and just so much hard CC. Like I
I
thought,
mean, that was the game. I think Bippo was like 1-10 on set top or something versus like Impact's Rumble. He was like getting. I think it was
Oh,
that game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like, and then I don't know. My game, to be honest, wasn't the best Nidalee game either. I didn't really have pressure from
Mhm.
both sides. I think we had Kasante and Kaisa, I think. So it was like, I mean, to be honest, I entered my game. We could have won the game, but like the comp itself wasn't like super good for Nidalee either. I would
Mhm.
say, but definitely could have played better.
I mean, dude, it looked really hard to play. Is it ever worth going Merchrez on Nidalee?
No, I would never go Merc.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because then I'm like watching the fights. It's like you either have Merchrez and you're kind of useless, and you might not get one shot, or
Wait,
you don't
did I
have
go
them.
Merc on stage? There's
No,
way.
I don't think you did.
Okay.
But it was like so many of the fights would just be like a Poppy stuns you, and then you're dead.
Oh no! I mean, I shouldn't even like be walking up to a wall. Like there was this one fight like that like kind of lost us the game where like I just got Nollis hooked.
Mhm.
Like none of my frontliners were standing in front of me. I just walk up, like without my Kasante or my Leona. I just walk up, get blind Nollis hooked, one shot, and it's like I have like a 3-second jump. I had flash up too. I think it's like, and I have 2 tanks. Like I should never be in that position, you know. So like I feel like you shouldn't actually be in the position to be getting like one shot like that. And if you are, like hopefully you're positioning yourself so that like your carries can hit them. Because like if you use all your spells to kill Nidalee and like Tristana or like Ezreal or Kaiser are actually hitting you, like you don't actually want to kill the Nidalee. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Switching gears a little bit, what are your guys' schedule looking like during this long break we've got for 3 weeks? Are you guys? I assume you're doing a lot of scrims.
Yeah. I
You
think.
said you went to the beach today.
Yeah,
We
we had
did.
some. No, we went to the beach for fun.
We went to the beach for
we had
fun, yeah.
Amazing time as a team.
Yeah. Jojo
was-
loved it.
Our home decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jojo loved it too. No schedule. Yeah, we're having one extra off day compared to like during the season, I think. So we're gonna have Saturday, Sunday off, and then during the week we're scrimming, as far as I know.
Yep.
And now our main scrim partners left the country, the continent, right? So we'll see how that goes because we're looking at our schedule and every team is like, usually when we scrim those guys, we end the day at like 4 p.m. and it's like not the most useful day for
Yeah.
either team. So we'll see. I think the biggest thing for us will be trying to not develop bad habits. From like,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. Because when you don't have stage matches, a lot of times when it's just only scrims, it's like you just start getting, you know, if you're winning too much, you get kind of lazy on stuff, and if you're losing too much, you just get super tilted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be tough. You guys think you're disciplined enough to handle it?
Some of us are.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. Yeah.
Do you have the dynamic in your team where there's like some people that are really try hard, trying to like rein in the people that are, you know, just wilding?
Maybe a little bit.
I wouldn't say this split as much. Like for sure we have people who are much more carefree, like me and Jojo, than like Phil or Berserker, for example.
We'll have moments.
Yeah.
Like everyone will have moments.
But like we have this thing, like this split about like focusing on ourselves and shit. It's like the new I wouldn't say it's a meme because it's pretty serious. But like it's like
it's a new motto. I
yeah,
guess.
it's the new motto, yeah, where we like basically instead of focusing on all our teammates' mistakes, try to like focus on what we could do better. Obviously, like you need if your teammates are inting, you still gotta tell them to stop inting.
Yeah.
But that's like it's less like everyone is kind of realizing themselves that they're inting too hard and they need to fix it. And I think it's actually helped us a lot this split. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I would say like we're still a bit more carefree than we need to be in our scrims, especially against like lower tier teams.
Yeah, it's hard. How's Reaper been with that? Because did you work with him before? When
Yeah.
he was on student? Okay.
Yeah.
How's that been? Does it feel like the same? Is he different from before? Is it helpful?
Reaper to me has always been like really good. Like always been a super good coach. Just like before he would have some like I would say like he would lose like motivation.
Mhm.
And right now I feel like he's as motivated as ever. He really wants to win, and I've always thought that Reaper is probably one of the smartest coaches I've ever worked with. And I just think in general he lets players play to their strengths. He doesn't try to stop them, and he's very Reaper just has a very decisive way on how he wants the game to be played out, and he tries to make sure that you know what he wants, and he makes it very obvious. He's not like, like maybe you could do this, maybe you could do this. He's like, no, you should do this. Like this is what you should be doing, and it just like regardless if it's like the best or not, it gives really clear direction on how we want to play the game. And generally, I think what he's doing is saying is correct. So like I feel like the players have a lot of trust in what he's saying.
That's good.
And I think he is always in his mind palace about drafts. So our draft meetings have been 1 minute recently.
Really?
We don't have draft meetings anymore.
Dude, that is so nice, man. I have so much trauma from like 3-hour draft meetings.
He just does everything. Like, he's like, I just want to know, like, what do you want to play tomorrow? Like, for example, like before we played against Shopify, he was like, do you want to play Zyra or do you want to play Karthus? Like, which one do you want to play today? And I'm like, I'll play Zyra. And then he's like, he already has an idea of what he wants to draft. And then he knows, like, from scrims what we're good at, what we're not good at. Like, the thing with Nidalee, after I went 1-7, he's like, you're not playing Nidalee for the rest of today. Like,
he said that?
Yeah, he was like, today's not Nidalee day. You're not playing it. Like, you're not playing well on it, basically. So he's very, like, he knows what you're good at and what you're not good at, and he tries to draft around it, for sure.
That's good. What do you guys think about the Dig versus Fly beef? That was, super hyped up all week. And then the match was the biggest letdown. It was like just straight up bullying, got shoved into the locker.
And the content was funny from both teams, I guess.
I agree with that. I like the content.
I don't know what the public opinion of Dig is, but like behind the scenes, knowing their scrims performances and like playing against them, we kind of had a feeling that Fly would come out on top like pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
And I think to be fair, they got shit on more than I expected.
I thought it would be a bit closer than that. Like,
Yeah.
they should be stage players, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I think some of their drafts were also like unplayable.
Yeah, the bot matchup.
Dude, the
Kaiser's
2v3 bot lane.
I don't know how that
That
matchup
was
even
good.
happened, but
They played it in LCK, by the way.
yeah,
like a
I
couple
saw.
days ago.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
it
funny.
looked fine. It looked
they
fine in
were
LCK,
bleeding.
but
Yeah.
Do you think there's like any world where AD junglers are getting played? Because I was watching LCK the other day, and I think it was like KT versus T1, like the Telecom Wars, had a bunch of Viego and was it Vi? I don't know.
I think AD junglers are completely fine right now. Like, I think Vi actually is pretty good right now. I'm not the biggest fan of playing like Vi against like Zyra, for example. If the Zyra is like a good team, to be honest, if you're against like not a jungler who really punishes, like farming wise, Vi can easily kill Zyra. Like, it's not like these champs are completely fine, especially if your mid laner wants to play AP champs. Like BG, for example, known like Talia player, like Azir, like he likes his AP champs. I'm sure he would rather play that than play Tristana Corki matchup.
Yeah.
So like I definitely think you can make it work. And even like you see like TL, they're playing Sedge, Maokai a lot. Like, you don't have to play farming junglers right now. I really think you can make any of the styles work. Obviously, I have an opinion on like which ones I think are better and works best for our team, but I really think like you can make anything work, especially going into the next half of summer when they're nerfing the AP junglers. I think there will be more variety for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it'd probably be good. It's, the games, when they're really one-sided and kind of formulaic and how they work, it gets a little boring.
Yeah.
Oh, Vulcan, what do you think about the Warmog's meta for support right now? Because when I first started seeing it, I thought it was kind of bait because Warmogs is one of those items that tends to be kind of bait.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't looked at the patch closely enough, and it's just, infinite HP and then like crazy move speed as well. What do you think about it?
It feels very good to buy compared to like Locket. It's kind of annoying because you build the shield thingy and then you have to buy like a cloth armor and a MR cloth, whatever it's called.
Mantle,
No magic, yeah. That feels kind of shitty because then you need a lot of gold to like actually complete the item.
Mm-hmm.
For support, it's kind of dog shit. Warmogs, you just stack ruby crystals and then upgrade them whenever you feel like it. You just add a ruby crystal to your inventory. That's pretty nice. But I do think that people are building it too often. Like, there's definitely some comps where the fight will be too fast and you won't get to use the passive. Or, like, people have been building Warmogs against Karthus, for example. Where, like,
that's the biggest
Locket
one.
is the single most OP item you can buy against Karthus. Like, it counters the whole champ. Every time I see Karthus, I go Locket and I'm like, I see the old fight. I'm like, guys, get close to me. Locket. I blocked like 80% of the damage, right?
Yeah.
Unless he's like super fed, but then just FF. So, like, sometimes I think people are defaulting to Warmogs too much.
Yeah.
But overall, I still think that it's a very strong item, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like Dig they like first picked Leona 2 games, right? Against
Yes, they did.
Fly?
Yes,
Yeah.
both games. Yeah.
Yeah, Leona's looking interesting.
She's like the Nidalee of supports in NA, I think.
Does she have a bad winner or something? She doesn't win.
It's not super high, I think, because I mean, I feel like the consensus for supports is that Leona is a stronger champ than Nautilus, but I'm pretty
Dude,
sure
Nautilus has
is
a crazy
undefeated.
win rate.
I think he's
Yeah.
undefeated, maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe that changed the past weekend. And Leona was like 2-2 after the first week, and now like Dig lost on it, so I'm assuming it's probably negative win rate now.
Mhm.
I mean,
Pretty red.
Nautilus is just like Leona is just better in scrims because
Yeah,
you fight so much more in
scrim god.
scrims, and Leona is just unkillable. Like especially if you give Leona kills. Like if Leona gets kills against Nautilus, she just goes wherever she wants. And like especially if you're playing like Nidalee or Zyra against Leona and Leona's fed, like you can't play the game.
Yeah,
You
you
know what I
just
mean?
get ulted on cooldown.
But like Nautilus' CC is just so much more reliable, and I don't know. It's just the champ is just broken.
It scales better.
Yeah, it scales
the
better
fact
for
that
Ult.
so many of the Leona games too, you know, like they have the Warmog's move speed, so you feel fast, but then you get hit once, it's gone.
Yeah.
You're a Leona, you can't hook to a wall to get out. You're just
Slowly
having to
getting run
slow
down.
death. Yeah.
You have to go in and like
Yeah.
everyone knows where you have. Yeah.
I mean, I think Leona's good. I'm not a big fan of B1 Leona. Like I think Leona still for sure has its spots in draft. Like it's still a good champ. Just I wouldn't first pick
They
it.
also had that one game where the matchup we were talking about, where they pick Leona Kaisa
Yeah.
and they see Kalista. They go down to 4-5. They choose to ban 2 supports, and
yeah.
they don't touch the Renata. When you have like you see Kalista on the other team, that's like the known duo.
Yeah.
Kalista Renata, right? Everyone picks it. And Leona does not like to play against Renata. You can get interrupted while you E. If the
Yeah.
Renata's good, you can't ever E in. And Leona's an all-in champ, obviously.
Yeah.
Renata W counters that. And
Yeah,
so
that was
like
the 2v3 game. That
That
was
was
the
bold.
incident.
Yeah. They
That was a
also
bold
banned 2
draft.
supports that are not good against Brand, in my opinion. Alistar and Nautilus. Like they already had Brand. They banned the 2 melee champs that I think are pretty bad against Brand. So it was a feels bad.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any funny stories from scrims this split?
There's one that it started while we were boot camping in Korea. And it's this thing where if Thanatos' matchup or lane is like swayed too much to the other side, like he's 0-2 or something, and he doesn't think that he can do anything to win his lane anymore, he'll like pause the game and all chat or remake or again before asking anyone. Like he's just pausing the game, says it in all chat, and then we're like, for example, there's one game we were like 5-0 on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it was like the kills were like 12-3 or something. Like we had 12 kills. They had
He was 0-3 or 0-2.
and he was like 0-2 or something.
Yeah.
And like, okay, honestly, like I think it's fine to remake at like 4 minutes, but like at the time it was like 15 minutes into the game, and then he wouldn't say one word, and he just like asked for a remake.
That's pretty L9.
While we
Yeah.
were like winning the game. Sometimes we're losing, so we're like the games we're losing, we're kind of like, okay, sure. But like the ones we're winning, it was like, I remember we remade one of them too, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, we ended up remaking one game where like I think Berserker was like 5-0, and like the game was like completely over.
I can't imagine you were so happy about that.
Well, I guess Berserker also thinks sometimes like he doesn't care remaking if he's too fed because then he doesn't think it's good practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like it ended up working for both.
yeah.
And recently there was a scrim against TL where Thanatos did that thing, and all chatted, and I was like, I'm not remaking this. So I was like, no, wait, we're discussing internally.
They got an argument on like in old chat because Thanatos was like, "Can we remake, please?" And then
I all
Impact,
said no.
Impact was like, "Okay, you can remake," and then Phil was like, "No, we can't remake."
Oh,
we ended
that's
up playing the
funny.
game. We lost, but at
We-
least
we
we
got-
had a game.
we got
We,
shit
like, we played the game.
Yeah?
It was okay practice, I think. It
Yeah,
wasn't,
I mean Thanatos started inting after the pause, but
Yeah, dude, I feel like
he remade in his head, you know.
in his head he's remaked already. He's like playing the matchup again.
that's the classic when the other team doesn't let you remake and you'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll play
no
out the
problem.
game.
Straight down mid.
Sure, bro. I'll play.
I might take every trade, might just not stop going in, but yeah, I'll play it
I'll
out.
play for sure.
That's good. Lastly, I just want to ask you guys what your predictions for week 4 are. The matchups first is Dig versus TL.
TL.
TL, yeah.
Moving
Okay.
on.
TL.
Second, we've got IMT versus Fly.
FlyQuest.
FlyQuest, yeah.
Moving on.
These are tough. C9 versus 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves.
Definitely C9. Definitely C9. Definitely C9.
Yeah,
Okay, we've got a little bit of disagreement there. And then this one might be tough. Energy versus Shopify.
I think Shopify can win because I'm not sure. Okay, Shopify still has to play Flying TL, which I think they're gonna lose to. And I don't think they're gonna go 0-7. I think that's just unlikely. Okay, based on the statistics, I think that's unlikely.
Mathematically speaking.
So
yeah.
I think that they will most likely win against Energy or 100. So I'm just gonna say Shopify will win because I don't think they'll go 0-7.
It's like the more you lose, the more teams start disrespecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not even that you'll play better. It's just someone will int really hard against you.
Exactly.
But
You
it is
understand?
best of 3, dude. Like they have to int twice.
I don't know. Have you like watched some of Energy's games? Like,
Oh, I've watched all the games.
like I think like Energy, like they can be good, but they can also be really bad. Like they're like both at the same time. So like
Yeah.
I think they can not show up on the day and.
Yeah, they seem like one of the teams that's been struggling with the meta, you know?
I mean, I just don't understand their practice like at all. Like every time we scrim Energy, it feels like they don't care. Like
They don't want to be there.
yeah, like they don't want. It feels like they don't want to be scrimming, and I just don't understand how they're improving scrimming the way that they are. So yeah, I
Like-
don't know.
Like being careless or...
Like not playing together. Like actually, in like some of their laners will just be trying so hard to win their lane that like they'll get ganked
Yeah.
and like die in the most stupid way, like double kill for free. Like sometimes you have to work hard, like it's a creative gank or like you did something unexpected, you fake recall, and
Yeah.
you're trapping. It's not like that. It's like they're hitting the turret at a terrible timer. Blaber's like full clearing down. He's done with every camp. He's like, I guess I'll go clear them now. Like, I guess they want to die.
The 7th camp.
Like
Yeah.
it could also be like we have higher expectations of Energy. Like maybe like for me, I think that they're better than they are. So like when they play like poorly or make these in my head dumb mistakes, that I'm like, oh, like they're so much better than this. Right?
So it feels
Maybe,
like they're not trying.
But like like versus some other teams, like when they just get completely shit on, like sometimes even worse than like Energy. Sometimes like I feel like we don't say anything about them because we're just like, oh, they're just bad. So
Yeah.
maybe we just have high expectations of Energy.
There's some truth
yeah,
to that. Yeah.
yeah.
I see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean they've had a really rough year coming off of a first place last summer. It's pretty
Beating G2.
Yeah,
Worlds.
yeah, true. Actually,
Yeah.
it's been weird to watch for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, thank you, Blaber and Vulcan, for joining me, and thank you guys for watching this episode of the Cloud9 Forecast. Let me know down below in the comments who you want to see next time, and I'll see you then.
Nice.
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 Good podcast. Great
Good
podcast.
stuff.